second episode, Karan, we are going to talk about road rage. First of all, I think this is kind of like a segue from our first episode because we did mention about our awesome driving skills and the amount of cars in Malaysia on our last episode. First of all, I want to start this episode by saying that I finally got my license.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Well done, well done. After how long? Two years.
Yeah, after 2 years of trying to get my license, I finally got it in 2.5 months almost.
Right. So I was gonna say that you got it late, but then a friend of mine, he also just got his license, and the reason was because he lives in KL,
Uh-huh.
and so because of COVID, what happened in Kuala Lumpur was they had a huge backlog of drivers wanting to get their
Get the
license
license.
done,
Yeah.
and then and then they just don't have enough facilities, places for you to sort of do your get your license done, practice and stuff. And so what ended up happening
Mm-hmm.
was that we had different scenarios in different states. So like for us, because you were off to Korea, so that's an exception, of course. But for me, I got my license by the time Form 5 or so. I think something just after 18.
Yeah. It was
But
after the
then
examination and everything.
exactly, and the people in the capital, because of COVID, this, that, etc., all the factors put together, some of them are just receiving theirs now. So I mean, there's nothing. I mean, you don't have to feel that bad, I guess, if it's any consolation.
Yeah, I think I did it late, but then I finished it in a very short period of time during the
Mhm.
summer
So,
break.
so you passed first try, eh?
Yeah, I wouldn't say first try. For motorbike, it's the second try because the last time I failed once.
Okay, put
Not a good
motorcycles out
memory.
of the question.
Yeah.
All right, because do you know what? I didn't take my motorcycle license at all,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't plan on taking one as well.
Yeah, bad for you
Uh,
lah. But then let's come back to the main
well, we'll
topic.
find out. Yeah, let's go.
Road rage. When we initially talked about this episode, I accepted straight away because when Karan proposed this idea to me, right, there was a case in Malaysia where this guy in a Mercedes or something, someone else was double parking and he tried to reverse and he managed to move out from the parking lot. But then he just stopped the car at the side and then come out of the car, pull out the number plate of the other car and just throw it on the car. I think it's a very common case. Like you can see a lot of people doing this thing when they're having road race, right? They just go and take other people's number plate off their car and throw it away. First
I
of all,
think if that happens to you, you're
mm-hmm.
sort of lucky. Maybe things can get much worse, as we'll
Yeah, but
soon
then
find out.
Karan, just imagine if the person throwing the number plate right at your mirror and someone else is sitting inside the car and then the number plate pierced through the mirror and went inside the car.
Okay, sorry, I changed my mind. Okay, yeah. So you were saying first of all.
Yeah, first of all, I feel like people rage especially way too much after the COVID because I was reading an article just now which said that during COVID time, because of lockdown and everything, right, the highway was very free, very less cars on the road. So people that need to go to the field, to the workplace, right, was having a great time back then. They can just go not too early from their house. They can come back anytime they want. The road will be empty pretty much during lockdown. But then now that many people need to go offline, like they need to go to the workplace already, it is getting worse. And another article that I also saw that, what was it again? Let me just find it very soon. Okay, it's here. Malaysian drivers were 3 to 4 times angrier than drivers in the US, Great Britain, New Zealand, Turkey, and Spain. This is an article
Goodness
from The
me.
Sun. Can you just imagine how stressful people in Malaysia are?
All right. Okay, you know what? First of all, that's not the image that we want to portray ourselves, or it's not the image that we regularly portray ourselves as. We
Mhm.
normally say, "Oh, Malaysia, diverse country, super friendly, super patient." So interesting that you read something. I didn't come across that article, I have to say.
I think I just went to Google and asked Road Rage Malaysia, and then this was
Uh-huh.
one of the top results that came out.
Wow. Okay.
What do you think, Adam? Because I actually said that I just got my license because I was trying to say that I really don't have much experience of being the driver on the road, especially in Malaysia. I mean, but in Malaysia, I don't have a lot of driving experience. But as a passenger, I feel like the people who normally road race, right, they don't think about the other person's situation because let's put it into this example. Let's say my elder sister, she always drives me around, right? Let's say she's having like a road rage, but it's a minor one, right? She's just scolding the person that just changed lane without turning on the signal, for example. Like
So,
I would just
I'm assuming the result would be a horn, right? When you see the word, when you say scolding, so
no,
that
she won't
translates
honk
into a
because
horn.
she feels like that will like make the things make the situation worse. But
Okay.
then she'll
So you
just
mean,
visibly be angry. You know, you can see like she'll be scolding the person to me instead of like doing any
oh,
action that can
right.
straight away affect the other driver. But I'll just reply like this. Can you like just think about the other person's perspective? Maybe it's rushing somewhere, or maybe like
Mhm.
it's having an emergency, or maybe you just want to poop very badly. You need to go home very, very, very fast. I think if you just like conclude that way, right, there won't be any road rage at all. Don't you think so?
No, I think I disagree. I think eventually
Mm-hmm.
when you drive, when you start driving, your patience will be like that for a month, for 2 months. I mean, and then put that into perspective, right? You've got the rest of your life to drive, and
Yeah.
you've got so many different things that you want to attend, so many different emergencies that you yourself will
Mm-hmm.
find
So
yourself
many
attending.
commuting that we need to do, right?
Yeah, and over time, it's just I feel it's almost inevitable that it results in frustration and it's going
And like going to
it just
potential road rage
yeah.
situation.
I think everyone gets affected.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that people react differently.
Differently, yeah.
Some people more violently than others.
Mm-hmm. But then, like, where do you put yourself? Because I know that you have been driving a lot for the last holiday, and you had like very bad situation, like the flat tire with Jeevan and all.
Oh, right. Okay. So you remember? Do you know the full story?
I
Where
think
did
I
we
remember,
get?
but
Did
then
I
we
tell
didn't say
you?
it in the podcast. So I think you may
Right.
go ahead and say the story like in a very brief manner.
Okay, so Jeevan is a friend of ours, and he came over to my house one day, or rather, I offered to pick him up from his house and then to bring him over to my house just for a chit chat.
Mm-hmm.
While doing that, he said, "Hey, I want to go to the bank and open a bank account." And so I drove him all the way there. It's a
Uh-huh.
rainy afternoon. Very good weather, honestly, if you don't have a flat tire.
And
But
I was thinking
as I was
about it.
going out of the house, yeah. As I was going out of the house, my mom said, "Hey, something is wrong with the tire. We've been noticing that the tire has been giving a little bit of problem for maybe a week or so.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, every time I fill the air into the tire, I never really noticed how long the interval was between the time I filled in the air and the next time I filled in the air. So
Yeah.
I couldn't really like for example, if I fill in the if I fill the air into the tire on a Monday, I'll forget to check it on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And so if the tire is flat on Wednesday, I can already be sure that yes, probably there's something
Flat
stuck in the
tire.
tire,
Yeah.
a nail or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, I only remember all of us, it sort of slipped our minds, and what ended up happening was all of us looked at it the next time, but it was already showing signs like of serious flatness, which is what
Mm-hmm.
maybe the week after, and we're like, oh, maybe something is wrong, but maybe it's not a puncture. It might be
Yeah.
something else. Yeah. So kept doing it, and this wasn't something that was prolonged, because if it's prolonged, then any random jack could say, "Hey, that's obvious that it's a nail or something." Because how long are you gonna keep filling in air without suspecting? Hey, I've been doing this one time too many already, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
makes sense.
so so it wasn't that long of a period either. So we're still in this very gray area. And so on the way back, I told you, and hey, look, I'm going to show you how to fill in air into the tire. So I'm trying to be the hero here, trying to show this guy who's got no experience how to fill air into the tire, because all of us are just gotten our license, so we're
Yeah.
still learning the basics, right? And
Yep.
so what happens is I take the pump, I put the end of the pump into the tire, and what happens is the air starts coming out instead of air going in, the air starts going out. And I go, something is weird. I
Mm-hmm.
keep doing it, which is another mistake. And so from what was a reasonably all right tire, which yes, it showed a little bit of signs of it, going flat, but it
Yeah.
wasn't too bad. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
a
Yeah, because
rectifiable
normally nowadays the
situation.
tires are made to like last very long, or even they have like any problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly. It will be able to get you to
Another place
a
in a
near
short period
place.
of
Yeah,
time. Not the
exactly.
most safest thing to do, but yeah, you can still try.
hmm So from a rectifiable situation, it became a almost irrectifiable situation. But thank God, I sort of like I had the brains to see that this was going nowhere, and I
Mm-hmm.
stopped just before it became 100% irreparable.
Flat, yeah.
Yeah, so 20 minutes got us back home, and by the time I got out of the car was undrivable. So just nice. But any more than my house, and I would have been stuck stranded somewhere, because you know what? I couldn't even open the nuts for to remove the tire and change it for
Mm-hmm.
the spare.
Mm-hmm.
It was basically jammed. So
Oh yeah, because it's
so
already
that's what
fully
happened.
flat, right? Almost.
Yeah, exactly. So why am I telling the story again?
Wait, okay, finally we got to the point. I was thinking, so let's put it like this. You were probably driving very slowly back to your house, right? Because you're scared that if the tire went fully flat, then it might crease your
Yes,
rim and everything.
very
Okay,
true. Yeah.
let's say there's a person tailgating you and he's quite
Okay.
frustrated because he just finished his OT and whatnot, and he need to go home
hmm
and feed his dog. Very specific
Yes.
situation, but here we go. Okay, now let's say you're going very slowly, which you were going very slowly, right? And the person then is
hmm
frustrated. Now he's suddenly going to overtake you, block you on the road, come out and just cuss at you in all the bad words you
Yeah.
probably
Yes.
know.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then
Yes.
he took
Okay.
off in
I.
his
You know
car.
what? You know what's funny?
Mm-hmm.
I was just gonna give the exact same situation. The guy stops in front of me, comes
Mm-hmm.
out. Instead of cussing though, starts taking it a step extra. Starts pounding on your windshield. You know what? I've seen proper dash cam videos. On YouTube,
Yeah.
starts pounding on the windows, on the windshields, and if you're male, fine, you might be able to take it. You might do something stupid, get out, ask for a fight, get a punch. He might leave you. It might escalate into something worse. So imagine if it's a girl or two girls can't defend themselves. Not like I'm any better, by the way.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
as
what I was
good as a
going to
girl.
say. You saved yourself there, Karan.
But I'd be terrified, you know what I mean? And so what from the videos I've seen, they go to such an extent, the amount of force they exert is enough to literally break your windshield.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
break your windshield, and then what happens when the parang comes out, which can happen if the fellow in front of you is not right.
Yep. So I was going to say, like, who do you think is at the fault here? Of course, the person overreacted, that is for sure. But then he had his
Yeah.
own problem going on. You had your own problem going on. Both of them are pretty much inevitable stuff, right?
Mhm.
So how can you weigh like who's at the wrong side here?
Well, obviously, the person who overreacted at the end of the day is the one that caused damage, trauma,
Uh-huh.
uh, potentially likely to cause injury.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd put him at the wrong. Whatever his situation is, it's not going to justify violence
Okay.
at
Yeah.
in any situation. Yeah, so I think the question should be, and I think everyone would agree with that, including
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
I
for
think the
sure.
question would be, what would you do in a situation like that? What if there are no other cars on the road, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe you're going out at night and something like that happens? I was talking to a bunch of people the other day. We were going out, and I asked them, "Hey, if you had a situation like this, the driver is literally being an idiot, a rascal,
Uh-huh.
literally, one of those guys that looks like they're high, and and they'll just stay there until you do something. What would you do?" And like I think 3 out of 4 of them said, "No, I'd just go ram into the guy's motorcycle, ram into the guy's car, or ram into the guy itself." And I said, yeah, okay, fine. If you cause the guy's death,
Yeah, I mean that is already another big criminal case already, right? Because that's like what
yeah,
murder case
exactly.
already.
If you do that, you end up going into jail at the very least,
Yeah.
or you end up killing someone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they said, I don't care. The guy is being an idiot. That was the
No,
reply
I
I
feel
got.
like it's just
So,
an impulsive answer lah. That's not really like coming from the bottom of their heart. I don't think so.
well, but some of them stay in front of your cars for a good 5 minutes. You really don't know what's coming next.
That's the thing. I mean, I would say the most efficient way is like drive away if you can find the way, right? Like somehow you can
Mm-hmm.
swerve the lane and just go ahead of them. Another main thing that I think you mentioned earlier also, Have a dash cam. That's a very important thing. I think we mentioned this in our first season as well when we were talking about some cutting case.
In that very moment, the dash cam is not going to do you any good.
Exactly. Like that's a long
And,
term
and you know the thing about
advantage.
these guys, they're rather witty in the sense that they will stop in a tight road after
Mm-hmm.
slowing down, making your life miserable. They'll stop at a tight road, for example, a one-way road. So
Yeah.
that's the video I saw. Was one of those KL roads where it's like a big curve in front of you. So it's
Like a
very tight.
flyover.
It's a one lane. Yeah, the flyover, exactly. The flyover. So it's a one lane. He puts his motorcycle right in the middle. So the only way you're gonna get past, in this case, the motorcycle is by ramming it,
Yeah.
ramming him or
Mm-hmm.
ramming the
Or the
motorcycle.
motorcycle.
Yeah.
But ramming
So
the motorcycle can lead to another consequence as well. If you ram it in the wrong way, it might get stuck under your car and then your car will be permanently damaged or
oh,
permanently stopped. I mean, not permanently
all
stopped,
right.
at least it'll be temporarily stopped on the road and the guy will still
Okay.
be there.
Yeah. That's a big problem.
Simple enough. Just don't be so rageful while you're driving. Be like, that's why I say that's my very first point, right? Acknowledge that the other
Mhm.
person might be having their own situation as well. No one want to purposely cut someone's lane. They just have any reason. It might be an invalid reason, most probably. But then you still need to be like, understandable. Like we are on the road and other people are on the same road as well. We are sharing the stuff. So be considerate. That would be my simplest advice. Even though I've not driven a lot yet. The longest I've been is like what 5 kilometers maybe. But I'm saying like from a future perspective, right? Of course, like Karan said, there'll be a
Yeah.
moment where I'll be frustrated and I might rage. Be like my sister, just shout in the car. That's enough.
In the car.
Yeah.
But that's a very mature answer. And you know what? I think all people who are drivers can actually sort of learn from people who are not drivers, because they can sort of like assess situations like these
Yeah, because it's from a
rather
third person view.
objectively.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very
it's a
true.
third person's perspective. Yeah, you're sort of unbiased. You're not tied to a certain position, so
Mm-hmm.
you can sort of give that kind of advice.
And another thing I realized, right, Karan, maybe we're going a bit too long of this, but let me just put it. I feel like people road rage sometimes because they're being scared, they are scared because, oh, I might have like accidentally hit the person. I might have accidentally endangered people that are like riding same with me. I feel like people react out of the fear of getting into an accident. Don't you feel so? I mean, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but fuck this, right? We don't really care. When I was trying to get my motorbike license, there was this guy that actually got into an accident inside the circle, inside the driving like practice circuit.
Right.
And the guy just straight up went like cussing at the other driver, saying that, oh, I actually went very slowly, he still come and hit me. But then it turns out to be the motorbike rider's fault, He didn't even put signal when he get out from the junction. So the car thought
Okay.
that it's not gonna come out. Then he just went straight. Then he hit the motorbike.
Right.
Nothing happened. There was no any serious injury. But then the way the guy
Yeah.
reacted, the motorcycle rider reacted, was not very good. It wasn't very
So
mature.
this is the person who's trying to get his license.
Yeah, both of them were trying to get their license. The car
Both of
driver
them.
and also the motorcycle rider.
Right.
So I feel like that's another factor that people normally road rage lah because of
Mm-hmm.
fear. They're scared of, oh my god, what if something happened? Like out of nervousness, panic, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's
So
one
then
thing.
that results in aggressiveness, I guess.
Yeah.
Interesting perspective. Well, that's an interesting place to leave things at, because do you know what, from all the questions that I've answered, questions that I've asked, I've also been getting a consistent answer, which is just keep a cool head,
Yep.
and if anyone is reacting aggressively against you, don't do anything rash. Just shut up, stay there, sit down.
Yeah, it's the most
and
obvious
and you're
answer, right? That's
Yeah,
why I say, I
and the
mean,
guy will probably chow after 5 minutes or so. Let the guy have his me time, you know what I mean? Shucks and
exactly.
maybe.
People are so sensitive nowadays. We just have to
Yeah,
live with it.
I guess. Yeah. Well, that's a good place to leave it, isn't it?
Yep. Okay, so that is all for episode 2. God knows when episode 3 is coming. Hopefully, we'll be consistent after this. Ciao,
I will
guys.
see you in a while. Bye bye.
Bye.